He's starting with a crosser, and then from the crosser he comes up, does the extension, does the lockout, and then comes out. You did this. You were here, then you went on the front, and then you brought it up like that. I was doing it all in one motion. You're doing clockwise. You're doing your right hand on top. So put your left hand on top. When your left hand comes to the front right there, bring it up behind your head. So the left hand is going to do this. You're on the back. Then as you come to the front, come up and behind your head, it's directly into the pinwheel. Think about it this way. Your left poi is behind your right shoulder and clockwise. Then as it comes to the front, bring it, like, do a little bit more of an extension to bring it up behind so you have enough time to follow with the other hand. You're doing bum to here. What you want to do is bum to there. He's going over the crown, you're going over the shoulder. So you're going in the pocket. You're going in your pocket like this, as opposed to above the crown, up here. Not the pocket, above the crown. Yes, you want to go above your head and not in the pocket. So I think of this as like your ear shoulder pocket, as opposed to the crown, right? So you're here doing this, and then what you want to do is pull it up to here, over the crown, not, so you're still going over your shoulder. You're doing this. Okay, now a couple things. You're doing this. You're doing turtling. What you want to do is you want to elongate the spine, look up, and fearlessly do this. Remember, the closer your head is, the closer your hand is to your forehead, the less likely you are to thwack your face with the poi. So trust, have faith, yes. And then elbow out to the side instead of this. So you're doing more of this, where the elbow's coming front, open to the side like this so that you're supporting the movement. Okay, so that, but over the crown. So you're here, elbows to the side, slide it up and in, up and in, up and in. Your pattern right now when you're doing it is more like this rather than this. Now, visually, those are different, right? You can see that this is two circles that overlap, forming a Venn diagram, versus a single circle, which is the difference. So he's doing a single circle, which is the traditional windmill over the shoulder, versus this more traditional shoulder reel. Like the pinwheel, or windmill, is directly over the crown. The shoulder reel is in the pocket. My palm, my hand, is going front to back, but what I'm talking about is the rotation of the palm. My palm is facing anterior, not posterior. Have you ever seen a picture of a sperm? Like a video of a sperm moving? When a sperm moves, it's got this tail, right? And the tail is doing this. But the head of the sperm is not what motivates it forward. It's the tail. It's the wave of the tail. If you think about the wiggle of the tail of the sperm, right? And you compare that to poi. Think of poi as the head of the sperm, the actual poi, but think of your arm as the tail. And what's happening is, I would say there's 4 major points where you're creating your wiggle. Your fingertips, your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder, right? So what's happening right now is you're locking your elbow. So you're missing one of the joints to help you. Yes, yes. Moving to the last move in the sequence. The last move in the sequence is what I would call a behind the back lockout. A lockout is where you are in the movement, and then for a beat you lock it out into circles and then come back into the move. So this is in front of the body. This is behind the body. Back view, you want to focus on getting a clean lockout here at your 9 and 3. Not here, not here, not here, not here, but here, like a T, a solid T. And this is behind. And then, in the old days, we called it barrel roll. This was before people had named the inverted barrel roll. They're 2 different things. This particular barrel roll is based on, imagine there's a barrel here, like a big wine barrel or like a whiskey barrel, and you are turning over the barrel. So the poi would be behind me, in front of me, behind me, in front of me. Okay, so if I were to show you that front view, really what it is the 2 paddle flower turnaround, where you keep the poi objectively on the same plane, even though subjectively it switches from your front to your back. Okay, so if you're that way, you could just go like that. where you go from behind with the right to behind up there and follow with the left. Take a moment to notice this. If my hand is here, where the rotation of the poi puts the angle of the head farther from my face than here. It's more likely to hit my face here. So here's my philosophical perspective on this. Poi is a practice of humility, where you are prostrating yourself to the very real possibility at any point in time of being thwacked someplace where it hurts. And you have to humble yourself and be fearless and bold and brave. And part of that practice is, how am I going to be in the face of the possibility of assault? Because your poi literally can be assaulting you. And so, who am I going to be in the face of my fear? Am I going to be standing up boldly and courageously as I try and do this? Or am I going to be cowering? And then the irony of the process of doing that turtling is it's actually harder to keep it straight. And so you end up, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you're protecting yourself, you end up having shittier lines, and as a result of having shittier lines, you're more likely to hit yourself. It's a surrender into the place of potential subjugation to these balls and string, ultimately. And this is why I recommend that you have something softer and friendlier and kinder when you're first starting out with a new move. Even if you only do it like the first couple times, sometimes it could just help give you the confidence so that you can stand there boldly and bravely. Meanwhile, back at this drill that we were talking about a little while ago, right? The next thing you want to practice is this. You're like, what is that? So all you do is, okay, this is another one of those things that I feel like it's really natural to just jump into self-judgment about, like, I should be able to do that because I'm just doing a unit circle behind my back, or two of them at once. And that is all you're doing, but there's all kinds of physiology that's different about it, right? So first of all, you want your elbows bent. Second of all, you want your core tight. Third of all, you want your palm forward the whole time through. And then I'm doing it in split time, but you could do it in together time if you wanted. And I'm just keeping it behind my back the whole time. So if you looked at me from behind, this is the left arm holding it there. This is the right arm holding it there. And what I'm doing, because, and if you want to be practicing the correct one for the combination that we're trying to imitate here, you would want to start in anti-clockwise on the front, because this is what's going to come into clockwise when you turn 180. Yes, counterclockwise in the front, then switch it to the back and hold it there. And practice doing that in split time. So that's the drill to prepare you for this turnaround. Once you feel comfortable with this sucker, practicing just doing that. All you do is big giant, stop behind, do the pedals. Big giant, stop behind, do the pedals. Big giant, stop behind, pedals. So you're doing a 2-pedal flower turnaround where the 2 pedals are behind your back. You're like this, not like this. So strong T, stronger T. Yes, you're like in a Y or an upside down Y. You want a T. But I would recommend before you try putting both hands together that you start with this. Oh, I got my one hand here. Okay, now I'm going to do the extension all the way around and come back behind there. I've got my hand here. Okay, and I'm ready to go bull extension all the way around, and then I land back behind. And doing it with one hand, where you could repeatedly do it in a row, right? So, okay, I have it once, boom, 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 boom. Okay, now let's see if I can do it 2 times in a row. Before you try putting 2 hands together. So it would be a 2-pedal behind the back flower with the giant turnaround. In my opinion, your mileage may vary, I believe this is much better to be performed with your back to the audience so that they can see the full circle.